to be here with you, Ritesh, and we connected through Kristen Keller and Aaron and Paula, and great to hear about your product. But before we get started on what you want to introduce the audience to, love to have you just share a little background about yourself.
Thanks, Chris. Pleasure. Yes, I met your wonderful company through Kristen and Aaron, and I will give a little background about myself. I grew up in Kenya, East Africa. Came to the U.S. Primarily to be a dentist, and look where I am today in a totally different and field. Life took its course. Managed to do a couple of things in IT since I was not able to pursue my background in dentistry. And I have a passion for fitness. Ever since I was a young child, I climbed Mount Kenya 3 times. We were right above the clouds. Touch God when you're up there that high. When you look down, you can see the ocean and the game and the animals running and the survival of the fittest journey of the animals. And that drove me to, where I am today. I realized that the industry in fitness today needs a gig app, and I'll talk a little bit about that later when the time comes up.
So how old were you about when you came over here?
I came here, let me see, 19, I believe. I came here to college. I went to SUNY Buffalo. That's where I did my bachelor's and master's. And then after that, I went into NYU dental school, where I had to drop out because I could not afford it. My dream came to, my dream was basically shattered. Um, I always wanted to be a dentist and have 2 restaurants. That's what I told my mom. And look where I am today.
And so two restaurants. That's awesome. So tell us about growing up. What sports were you into? What fitness activities did you like?
So when I was a kid in high school, I was pretty much short distance runner, 100 meters, 200 meters. I was into shot put because I was pretty bulky as a child, and shot put, rugby. I was probably the one of the lead rugby players in my team. Like I said, I was pretty chubby, and compared to other kids, we were able to bring them down on the counter defense. So yeah, those are basically in soccer. So soccer, rugby was primarily the two main sports, and we called it American football here because when I came to the country, I told people I play football. They're like, "Show me," and I started playing rugby. They're like, "You can't pass the ball forward." Foul. So, you know, go ahead.
What was your favorite sport?
I would say favorite sport would probably be soccer. Yep, soccer. Because rugby gets a little rough, and some players just really want to knee on the chin, and I didn't really like that.
Right. So you came over here 19, and then how much, your dream of being having your, being a dentist and all that went away. And when did you get this idea for InstaTraining?
So I've been in IT 15 years, worked in different environments, and simultaneously in the background, I've been doing a lot of activity in my own, running, primarily running. And fundamental gap I realized is it's very difficult finding, in my scenario, a pacer to help me run faster. I'm not a fast runner. And uh, out of that, COVID happened, and COVID shut down the country. And the gym. I used to have 4 memberships. I used to go to Lifetime, I used to go to Planet Fitness, I used to go to LA Fitness, and I used to go to New York Sports Club. Depending on my geographic region, if I'm in Manhattan, if I'm uptown, downtown, I'll find a gym because I used to really try and be in shape. And COVID happened and my lifestyle changed. I couldn't visit all my gyms. I couldn't find anybody to even to where would I find a trainer to come to me and show me how to do this and that? And I'm like, why don't we have this type of platform? So I initially was thinking of creating something that can be just for runners. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why are you just targeting just runners? And I said, okay, let's make it a little broader. And what we have today is a a buffet of categories, not just runners. We have Zumba, Pilates, yoga, personal training, MMA, dance, sports, basketball, hockey. Anything that any trainer can teach virtually and on site is available today. And we keep adding more categories as we learn. Pickleball just got introduced as a service. So we're bringing on everything because we truly believe that you need a platform that represents every single niche, and that can be delivered virtually as well as on site. And I think we lack that today. Or maybe there is, and I just haven't seen one.
So tell us exactly what InstaTrainme does for people. If someone's a brand new person and goes to the app, what could they how could they benefit from it? Or who are you looking for to benefit from it?
So InstaTrainme is a platform where anybody with any level of fitness can seek a trainer. So if you're a rookie, if you're a pro athlete, if you're a elite, depending on your resilience and where you want to be at the next level, you can find that type of trainer to take you at that level. So, an elite ultra marathon runner can find a yoga, Zumba, Pilates, just to maintain that status of the fitness. Whereas a patient who is coming off an injury or a long-term care might need a little help here and there for mobility, and you can find a trainer to help you for mobility. So really, it's just depending on what you need, you can find different trainers across the country with different prices because we don't control what the trainers will charge. Every trainer has their own charge, and based on what you can afford and what you would like, who you would like to come to your premise, a male, female, you can decide, and then you can quickly book them through their calendar or instantly. We have this feature where you can instantly book a trainer real time, right there and there, just like you can request food from their gig apps or the rideshare apps out there. You can request them real time. We have that capability. You can request somebody real time.
So that's awesome for a customer, and then also for people that are teaching. There's obviously a way for them to be involved. How do they get involved to teach people how to train and whatever sport is they're looking to do?
Right. So the marketing that we do, basically, we tell folks in the content that, hey, if you're a baseball coach, if you're a soccer coach, if you're a basketball coach, if you're a Zumba, Pilates, yoga, if you can teach and if you have certifications or extensive background that we can validate and we can make sure your background is proves that you are capable of teaching, then you can come on board and we'll onboard you. It's less than 3 days. We just have to send you all the links for onboarding, and then we check your background. Folks that are doing work on the ground, we have a third party do an additional background. We make sure we vet every candidate that's going to be on-prem. Virtual, we don't really do that extensive a background check because they're virtual. But if you can deliver virtually or on site activity that's in sports or personal training, then you can use InstaTrain and be found, and you control the charge. So you can pretty much say, hey, I want to make 200 an hour. It's fine. We don't tell you what the maximum you can charge is. We don't tell you what the minimum is. Depending on your geographic region in the US, you would find that buffer zone where people can afford you and book you through our calendar or request you instantly.
Great, great. So quick question. From when the time you got this idea till the time you officially launched, what was the time period in that?
So the idea pretty much came, and like I said, during COVID, we was prototyping, sketching, drawing, thinking, brainstorming, meetings, and just trying to, so ideation 2020, 21, all the way through 2023 was when we were truly putting it on a prototype Figma wireframing it, and then 2024 vendor selections, looking for vendors who we want to select and have our development to do the work. Because again, it's difficult finding the right vendor. So based on a bunch of interviews, we found the right vendors, and then we started working on that in towards December. And then we got some designs done, and then we had to redo some designs because we didn't like the initial design. So it was a bunch of iterations and different folks. It was quite a bit of investment up front, picking the right design, and then in 2024 April we finally incorporated, after we set stone on the design, and then we launched the actual development back end. And again, we try to be multi-cloud because of the resiliency. We try to be highly available, highly scalable. If something happens, you want to make sure that your instantly recovery time is less than a minute, because if someone's in a session and they're sweating and something happens, we don't want an app to crash. So we try to make sure that it reconnects if there is an issue, less than a minute is what we are working towards today. And it's pretty robust, our infrastructure, and it can get pretty expensive, but it's what's needed.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So how did it feel after you officially launched it?
I feel good that we now have an option that folks can find other folks to get them to the destination. Everybody has their North Star that they want to go to. And now you have a way that you can reach out to folks who've done that, who can show you the way. And not just in hit of personal training, but in sports. And now if so we have another COVID type outbreak or something that shuts down the country, trainers will not lose their jobs because gyms will close, right? That was another reason why we did this, is a lot of trainers and mom pop gyms had to shut down because there was no marketplace. And now this would make sure, hopefully, if we get the broadcast and transparency across the country, then folks could use our platform to continue doing what they're doing best. Trainers can continue doing what they do best, and we partner with gyms. We tell gyms and local, um, facilities that, hey, if you let us use your space, we will work out an arrangement, right? That could be some kind of um, perk for the member and the gym. So we do partner with gyms. We want to make sure they are getting the traffic. We want the trainer to continue getting traffic, and we want the end of the pipeline is the user, the customer, and they're happy and they're getting what they need. Our mission's accomplished.
Right, right, right. What advice do you have for someone that wants to create their own app?
Um, I would say the choosing the right vendor is the most important thing, because you want to have a vendor that can support you in the entire pipeline, not just from design, but the infrastructure, but also the scalability, the reliability, the high availability. Those things are very critical because you can scale and grow and become really big really fast, and you want that vendor to help you modify the code level modification or infrastructure level modification, and you want to build that infrastructure that's truly scalable from the get-go. And you also want to be have your app, before you get to that stage of final development, to have multiple reviews from other entities that are not related, to sort of give you that pros and cons of your current architecture, because sometimes you'll realize what you built might not scale, and you're like, huh, I wish I knew that. So you really want to get that third, fourth opinion to CYA and make sure that whatever you're spending your investment in is truly scalable. So that's what I would say. Having independent reviews would be good before you spend a lot of money investment in your final app. And yeah, I think that was my most lessons learned advice that I would give folks, because it becomes difficult changing vendors halfway. If you have a vendor that's so deep and then you realize they might not be able to scale, then you to change that, it's difficult to find another vendor to continue that journey can be a little challenging, but it's possible and it's doable.
Right,
You know.
right. I think a lot of people in tech would agree. It's usually cost a little more than you initially budget to get these things up and going and continue to operate. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's There's the fixed cost that you sort of forecast and you get ready for, but then you have those hidden and surprise costs that you never thought about and never discussed initially in your statement of work or your initial scope planning, and you're like, huh, why did we miss that? So it's really important to get the scope initially, the scope planning and all that, all those itemized from the get-go, get your vision aligned in the big picture, make sure all those T's are, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed from the get-go, because you want to cover all that, and give that vendor the entire picture, because they need to know how big you want to be. Do you want to be in Europe? Do you want to be in Asia? Do you want to be in Australia? Then the vendor needs to know from the get-go, because there's different data policies and frameworks that they have to follow for multi-availability and scaling data based on that. And if you miss that initially, then later on they'll throw that six-figure cost to you, and they're like, huh? So yeah, lessons learned is, I think initial scope planning is, you really want to get that vision to the vendor, so they also understand. You just don't want that app, to do all these fancy things, but what's your end game, right? What is the end game? What's your geographic end game? And those are key features that a lot of people might miss. We miss that, and we learn from that.
So what markets are you currently operating in or currently looking for trainers, coaches, and end users, customers?
So the idea was to go global, and the vendor, I put that to the vendor that we do want to be global at some point in time.
Mhm.
But because most, like if in the running industry, right, for example, the elites are in Africa, no doubt about it. And we need to reach them. And we can't right now, because right now we're in US. We're US based. I can't say about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know where the elites are. I don't know anything about pickleball elites or tennis elites. But wherever they are, we need to tap into them and get the user the ability to tap into that session virtually, and learn and get better, right? So the idea is to have that eventually. Right now, we're strictly in the US, all 50 states.
What other future plans do you have besides global expansion? Is there any plans that you have that you can share with us today?
So yeah, we got a couple of things coming at end of the month. To end of this month, we are deploying, as probably this weekend. It might happen if testing goes well. We are deploying some training plans. These are universal training plans that not just personal trainers can use, but even a dance instructor or a Zumba instructor can use. So that's being deployed this week. If testing goes well, or maybe latest end of the month. We're deploying a couple of features in the app to make it seamless for the user. We had initial, complaints about too many clicks, and we're working on that to make it better. We listen to the user, we listen to the trainers, and we try and give them what they're asking for. Big, big visionary features we're trying to do is introduce machine learning and AI to do a few things, as far as giving you your before before forecast, and what's going to take you to get to that, your Iron Man, right? Or your legendary where you want to be. So we're trying to do something with AI machine learning. We don't have that today. And also we are trying to introduce crypto as a form of payment.
What else would you like us to know that you haven't shared so far?
Thanks, Chris. I think you pretty much have covered everything that I would truly like to share, and I truly appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, I'm looking forward to users coming on board and trainers coming on board to use the marketplace, and making the most out of it.
How can people find InstaTrainme?
You can find us on instatrainme.com, www.instatrainme.com. Our app is available on iOS as well as Google Play. We also are on social media at InstaTrainMe, at INSTA Train Me.
If anyone wanted to get a hold of you, is there a certain platform or a way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach out to the website, and you can just do contact us, and there's a way for you to engage us. We also have a chat bot on the website. You can reach out to us through the chat bot. Two ways. Yeah.
Great. Well, sounds like just a great product, amazing, and hopefully it continues to do well for you. And it was great chat with you today.
Thank you, Chris. I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.